Below Ecaterina is a film about a religious club in a high school. Iuliu, a 16-year-old student with a terrible history, becomes connected with the instructor, who is also the wife of the village priest. Struggles to maintain control over him while simultaneously losing control of herself. Jason and Ecaterina's marriage has lasted for 2 decades and had their son William at the most ideal age. They were a wonderful match. Nobody on either side of the family has ever done anything wrong, since they are blissfully unaware that there is a well-guarded creative talent hiding beneath their picture-perfect marriage, and she subtly administers a remedy to him. When Jason finds out that she wants her impotent spouse to re-energize and fulfill her, he belittles her viciously. Ecaterina signed the divorce papers with conviction after 3 years of growing disillusion, met with men, and the possibility that her marriage had finally ended. The only way she could keep her son William's education undisturbed was to keep acting as though she were married to her ex-husband. Unfortunately, it appears that God is on her side. Her dull existence quickly took a change for the better. His actions were the catalyst. When she felt her intensity of his gaze ignited an intense yearning inside her. The only way for her to conceal the emptiness that was causing her heart to race was to deliberately avoid it. Evenings passed with this unease. Alexandru and Ecaterina crossed paths on a street corner as the latter drove home. Out into the countryside they walk, with the child claiming to be stuck in a study slump and wanting to speak to his instructor. Alexandru initiated the discussion by stating that he was born into a dysfunctional home and that his father had passed away from a serious illness when he was quite young. He had never felt his parents' affection since he was a little boy, since his mother remarried after being overwhelmed by the strain. Despite Ecaterina's desperate attempts to reach out and comfort the kid, thankfully she possesses some remaining common sense and ultimately decided to reject him. The youngster had to go when he detected the instructor's reluctance. For the time being, Ecaterina was unable to relax because she remained frozen in her heart, lingered in her head even after she got home, and the sensation would not go away. The youngster was only acting impulsively, in Ecaterina's opinion. He surprised her the next day by showing up at her place accompanied by her kid. Middle school was a common ground for Alexandru and his son William. They didn't attend the same school after high school, so they rarely saw each other. Upon first sighting Alexandru, Ecaterina, because her kid was at home, she assumed he would be too scared to do anything, but out of nowhere, while she was cooking supper. So startled, Ecaterina immediately intervened to stop him. He was discarded by her. He dropped a glass of water, and the boy's mouth was a little scraped. After seeing her mistake, the woman felt compelled to clean the boy's wound and caution him to be careful. Alexandru has been hesitant to take action for a while now because he worries about his classmate William. Despite knowing that an intergenerational relationship would never work, Ecaterina couldn't help but observe because she just can't let go of the way she feels. Ecaterina had to take William home that day, since he and Alexandru stayed up late studying. While waiting for the light to change, Ecaterina was abruptly pulled back to reality by the sound of an automobile honking. Upon swiftly realizing her wrong behavior, she forcefully removed Alexandru from the vehicle. Drago and Ecaterina are invited to supper by his parents the next day. The mother of Drago and Ecaterina got into a quarrel out of nowhere and then departed. She stood up and noticed her kid studying, her frustration mounting. She messaged Alexandru on her cell phone, telling him to meet her in 10 minutes. They braved the darkness to reach a rural, uninhabited spot. They thoroughly enjoyed the evening. She assumed her kid hadn't noticed and went back to her house as if nothing had transpired. On the other hand, William claimed to have placed a GPS on his mobile phone and was therefore aware of his mother's precise whereabouts. He just lacked knowledge of her companion. Fearing for her safety, Ecaterina went up to Alexandru and begged him to end their relationship. On that particular night, an angry Alexandru summons William to the bar and forces him to drink. He then asked him whether he had any information once he got outside, which he declined. Alexandru becomes enraged by Ecaterina's dogged perseverance when she finds him and expresses her desire to end the relationship. She left class the following day after threatening to reveal her photo to the entire class, which infuriated Ecaterina. The following day, he discarded her. As a kind of blackmail, he began to email her a photo and demand that she meet him at his apartment at 9 o'clock in the evening. She met him at his apartment after lying to her husband and son over family dinner. After some small chat in his flat, he attempted to push her, but she escaped by hitting him with a bottle. Principal informed her the next day that he had shared a group photo of her when she arrived at school. She was asked to leave the school immediately and suspended by the principal. Not long after that, suicide by jumping off a cliff was said to have occurred at the school. Upon seeing Ecaterina's haste to the edge, he discerns that it is Alexandru. For the sake of everyone's sanity, Alexandru is desperately seeking a lady. That she approached him that night is the truth, and he wants her to tell everyone about it. Panicked by the sudden turn of events, Ecaterina can only admit that she now feels sorrow for her actions. Nevertheless, the lad still refused to release his grip. He hoped the educator would live with eternal shame over her actions. As a result, he risked everything, and thus his little life came to an end. Because of the shame she felt, Ecaterina hid out in her house all day long. Despite his feelings of humiliation, William, her son, did not think twice about leaving to study overseas, leaving an isolated woman in excruciating pain behind.